Well, folks, as you can see, I got a drawing right here. I've been recording for 5 minutes, but it turns out I forgot to turn the microphone on. So, take two. So anyway, some controversies people wanted me to talk about related to last year, related to the animation industry, was the Butch Hartman situation and the John K situation. So, I figured now would be as good a time as ever to talk about it because they're fresh on my mind, and once again it's late night on a Thursday night when I'm recording this, and I should really find a better schedule to make these things because this is really starting to cut into my country, vernal clock, bedtime, rooster crowing, whatever. So, let's start with the least controversial one first, and that'd be the Butch Hartman thing. So you all know Butch Hartman is the creator of Fairly Odd Parents, Danny Phantom, Tough Puppy, Bunsen is a Beast, and several other little things. He actually worked at Hanna-Barbera before he moved to Nickelodeon. He directed a lot of Johnny Bravo episodes. So the thing is that he announced that he left his longtime job at Nick and to pursue some other things. And what those other things were is he wanted to create an app where it would, quote unquote, restore traditional family entertainment. Well, nothing shady about that, I'd say. Well, it turns out that the Kickstarter was for this thing called Oaxis Entertainment, or Oaxis, and it reached its goal of $250,000. And as it turns out, Butch Hartman is trying to convert your kids to Christianity. Or at least that's what the internet critics said about it. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. He pretty much just wanted to create an app where it would install Christian values and all that kind of stuff for your little kids and stuff. So that's the situation related to that. And I'm not going to knock on his religion or anything because I have some close friends of mine who are Christian, and I love them to death. They're like brothers, and I have no problem with a man's beliefs. But what people were upset about was they felt like they were lied to, they were manipulated, because people really wanted to help Butch Hartman out because he made a lot of cartoons that we liked. Well, one for me, Danny Phantom. It's like the other two I don't very much care about nowadays. And Bunsen and Beast, I never even watched it. So here we are in this situation, and yeah, maybe the last I checked, the app is still being made from what I saw, unless I'm wrong. People correct me if I am, but yeah, so now it's up to you people if you want to get the app or not, knowing the truth. But yeah, I think if you really paid attention to Butch Hartman's work, you would have known that he is a devout Christian, and he mentions God a lot in his YouTube videos, so yeah, it's pretty obvious that it's a very important part of his life, which again, nothing against that. It's like he can live his life however he wants, but you know, people don't like it when they feel they're being manipulated and lied to, and you're basically going to try to shove something down their throats that they don't fully support, which I can totally get. So that's pretty much the situation related to Butch Hartman. It's not like as juicy as the next one I'm going to get into, but people want me to address it, so there you go. It's like, I'm not mad about it or anything. I felt he could have been a lot more honest, because isn't one of the 10 Commandments of Christianity, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor? Just saying. So, yeah, that's the thing related to Butch Hartman. But now we move on to the real meat and potatoes. The John K situation. So people who have been watching my videos for a while know that Ren and Stimpy, I've always spoke highly of it. It was one of my favorite shows growing up, and it's like I highly regard it as one of my favorite animated series of all time. But as the years went on, I noticed I started liking it less and less the more I watched it, the more I noticed things I didn't like about it, and the more I read about John K, the more I thought, wow, what an asshole. And the controversy that came out last year only proved my sentiments. So as it turns out, John K. had a thing for underage girls. It turns out he had a relationship with two of his former co-workers, Robin Bird and Katie Rice. Katie Rice happens to be one of my favorite, or one of my drawing inspirations. And so as it turns out, he was having relationships with these girls when they were the ages of 15 or 15, 16, 14. Like, they were way too young, to say the least. And due to the Harvey Weinstein effect, they finally found the courage to come out and say that he groomed them and did all kinds of nasty things to them that you can't imagine. And as always, when something like this happens, John K. came out and apologized, kinda. He basically blamed it on undiagnosed bipolar disorder, and ADHD. Now, I've known people with ADHD in the past. I've never heard of one of the symptoms being attracted to underage girls. And the same goes for bipolar disorder, for that matter. So anyway, and as you can see, Katie Rice and Robin didn't take too kindly to it because it was pretty much a fake apology. But so yeah, that's the whole thing John K. did. And yeah, I kind of had nothing nice to say about this man at this point. Because it's bad enough he was very unprofessional when working on Ren and Stimpy. He would constantly miss deadlines for new episodes. He would make Billy West do over 100 takes of a scream that was clearly hurting his throat and just strain his voice. And he was pretty much a dick to pretty much everybody around him. And you know, people have always given him the easy. It's like, been easy on him, saying, oh, well, it's like Ren and Stimpy inspired a whole generation, blah, 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 blah. You know, have you guys watched Ren and Stimpy recently? It's not that good. I'm sorry. I really am. I honestly don't know why it became as popular as it is. I mean, okay, I can see why. Cartoons at the time, they were mostly toy commercial cartoons, and it was just a breath of fresh air to see a cartoon that brought back the wacky and surreal humor of the Looney Tunes cartoons. But here's the thing. Ren and Stimpy episodes were trying to be Looney Tunes cartoons, but they failed miserably at it because the Looney Tunes cartoons were 7-minute long cartoons. They had to fit as much gags in 7 minutes as possible. But the thing is, with 11 minutes, they had to drag a lot of those episodes out just to reach the 11 minutes. And it wasn't very shocking when Ren and Stimpy episodes, each 11-minute episode will only have like 5 or 4 gags in them. That's asinine. When look at how many gags a Gumball episode has nowadays, like 50, 100. I can't even. And every time I watch a new episode, there's always something I missed. I don't get that with Ren and Stimpy. They're slow paced. They're boring for the most part, and a lot of the humor just boils down to butt jokes. And yeah, I'm sorry, it's just not my thing anymore. But you know, people might say, oh, it's like you're only saying this now because of John K. and blah blah blah. You need to learn to separate the artist from the art. It's like, yeah, I can if the art was worth defending, but the art ain't worth defending either. The artist was a jerk, and the art isn't very worth defending at all. In fact, I'd be hard-pressed to say that Ren and Stimpy episodes when John K. wasn't involved are better than when he was involved. yeah, go fig. So yeah, I no longer have any sympathy for John K. at all. He's a disgusting human being who was a jerk to, and even still, a friend of mine pointed this out to me. He would write anonymous reviews under a pen name. He would write reviews of cartoons for like Animation Magazine or something like that. He called and say like some of the dumbest crap. He called Animaniacs a pretend cartoon. Like, what? What the hell is a pretend cartoon? A live action show? That doesn't make any sense. So, point being, I've lost all respect for John K. and anything he's ever been involved with. The only thing I can say I liked was the Naked Beach Frenzy episode of Ren and Stimpy. What are the complaints? That episode was awesome. It's naked girls all over the place, man. But I guess it helped because Katie Rice did the character designs for those girls, so no wonder why it turned out so good. But yeah. So I guess Ren and Stimpy is no longer one of my favorite shows. I wanted to. It's like, what better way to express it than for this topic? Yeah, I might be breaking a few childhoods here, but I encourage you guys, watch the show again. Is it really as good as you remember? Because it sure as heck isn't for me. And you know, it kind of yeah. So that's pretty much it. That's all I gotta say about that. Butch Hartman, be more honest with your fans, and John K., stay as far away from other humans as possible and never make another cartoon again, because you really don't deserve all the praise you get anymore. So folks, how badly was your childhood hurt by these two things? By you finding out about these two things last year? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, stay loony, my toonies. We some southern boys with the promised strength. Ain't nobody man enough to feel the pain. And you could be next.